Hi everybody, my name is Zenith, and welcome to Zerg Hex Plus tutorials. This is the first Terran tutorial for the game Zerg Hex Plus. It's my favorite custom game. It's a spin-off of Zerg Hex, which is a game that came out a few years ago in the Starcraft 2 arcade. It's no longer actively maintained, and so Hex Plus, developed by Fatline, took its place. And this is the game that I play pretty much every day. It's my absolute favorite. So I wanted to make this guide to help new players learn how to play the game, to understand the mechanics. I know it's really difficult getting to learn a new custom game, and so I just wanted to make that process a little bit easier for everybody. So first off, the way the game works, you have 8 players. In the middle of the map, there are 2 Zergs, each with their own hive. And then in a hexagonal formation around the map, you have 6 Terrans. Now, the goal as a Terran is to build your economy, build an army, and kill the Zerg hives in the middle. As the Zerg, your goal is to kill every Terran command center. That's the win condition. The way this works is the Zergs, they start with a few spawners. You see we have a slowling spawner, which automatically produces slowlings, which are basically Zerglings. And you also start with a creeper spawner for each of the Terrans. Now, the game is generally divided into 2 sides. We have the top side of the map, which consists of these 3 players, and we have the bottom side of the map, which consists of these 3 players down here. Now, the Zerg is generally responsible for their half of the map, although control is shared, at least when the game starts. And so oftentimes, Zerg players will coordinate together in order to pressure individual Terrans or try to end the game faster. Now, as a Terran, I need to work with my teammates to build up a force capable of taking on the Zerg. It's very easy for the Zerg to push the Terrans into their base to keep them down because they have this unlimited stream of units, whereas the Terrans have a relatively finite supply of units. In addition, the Terran relies on energy in order to shoot. So Marines consume 1 energy every time they fire. And this can become very costly as the Zerg continues to build more spawners and put on additional pressure. So, as a Terran, the things we need to look out for are our units, making sure they have enough energy, making sure that we have enough units to defend the amount of pressure we're getting from the Zerg, and then making sure we have enough economy to support the number of units that we want to build. So just to give you a quick demonstration of how a game should start, I'm in learning mode right now. If you're interested, you can open up the map in a learning mode. I'm the only player here, and I can zoom out very far. I can control the Zerg, and I can control any Terran. But for now, I'm just going to show you how I would start the game as a Terran player, so you can see what that looks like getting set up. So, most importantly, I want to get outside of my main base here. It's safe. I have a couple gates out front that will help protect me, and I have high ground, which also makes it easier to defend against the initial Zerglings, but it's very difficult to have any impact in this game if I just stay in my base the whole time. So the first thing I want to do is try to improve my economy. And we have this one refinery, or geyser, I guess, in my main base, and a couple directly outside of the main base. Refineries are super important. We can build one right now. This allows us to accumulate more gas, more Vespene, which will allow us to build different types of farms, which are sort of the secondary eco building. Now, the way economy works for Terran is rather than having workers mine resources, you have buildings that produce them automatically on a timer. So a refinery, when you first build it, generates 1 gas every 4 seconds, and it can be upgraded for 80 minerals to double the Vespene production. To generate minerals, we have a few different options. The first is a fruit farm, and the fruit farm is the simplest and the most efficient way to generate minerals. However, they take up a large amount of space, as you can see here. You know, it's a 6x6 building, and so you can only fit so many of them in your whole base until you run out of space. And so you have to rely on slightly less efficient options like sheep farms or cow farms once we have unlocked them by building a construction yard. And then later on down the road, our more advanced eco buildings are a chemical plant, which generates 5 minerals every 10 seconds and requires a construction yard and an upgrade that you can research from the construction yard. and converters, which you can use to convert minerals to gas or gas to minerals. Now, we want to expand out of our base. We want to accumulate as much gas as possible, because gas is very early on going to be the limiting resource in building our economy. So I like to build out all these fruit farms in my base. And I have another video up that demonstrates exactly how you should place these buildings the right way to open. But for now, I'm just going to get out of my base a little bit so I can show you some of the other mechanics. So I'm going to send one of my Marines down to this left side over here, the other 3 over on the right. I have this battery, which is used to transport energy from my generator, which produces energy at a fixed rate, right now at 15 energy per second. I can use my battery to carry energy from the generator to my units. If you've played regular Hex, you'll know that most people patrol their battery. They have it next to the generator, and then they use the patrol command with a shift click to make a little triangle so that their units are constantly being replenished by the battery. And you'll notice there's this autocast on, so it'll just automatically pick up new energy from the generator and then drop it off with the units where they need it. In Hex Plus, we're also given these power pylons, and power pylons just work to extend our energy network from the generator. So instead of having to bring our battery all the way back to our generator, we can actually bring it forward somewhere within the range of this pylon, and it'll be able to pick up the energy from that pylon from the generator. And so if we wanted to patrol our battery, which I recommend, we should start around the front of this power pylon, and then shift click to one group of units, and then the second place I would patrol it is here with a shift click, and make a little triangle. This ensures that our starting units are getting a constant stream of energy from our battery, and will hold up in this situation where we don't have any additional pressure. Now, because this is a practice game, a learning mode, I know I'm not getting any additional pressure from the Zerg. They're not going to be building on me, and so I feel pretty comfortable that I can just use this basic set of units and this battery setup in order to defend myself. Now, in a real game, it's going to be required that you build additional units and that you increase your energy production, which you can upgrade at your generator. For additional units, you can build them at your barracks. You'll need more units to be able to defend, and you really need to watch the energy. I really want to emphasize that point. But once we're set up a little bit, once we have these units out, it's very important that we start enhancing our economy, building our economy, by securing more gas, and then building more fruit farms. Building more fruit farms until we've pretty much taken up all the space. If you watch my base setup video, you can see how I like to set up my base to maximize economy and efficiency, which gets us started and set up on a good foot so that we can make a significant impact later on in the game. Last couple things I want to touch on here. We have a few different types of units for Terran. Most of your Terran units use energy to shoot, but Reapers are special in that they don't require energy. You can see in the tooltip here, weapon does not require energy. And I can build a few units, or a few Reapers specifically, and not have to patrol my battery to keep them firing, to keep them useful. And so I like to use these as the first units that I actually build. You spawn with 4 Marines, but I like to take a few Reapers and use them to help clear out these geyser blockers, which are preventing me from securing additional gas. From there, I can then use more Reapers to hold off these edges so that my battery doesn't have to patrol as far, and I can replace the Marine positioning with those Reapers and just make my life a little bit easier. Now, you don't have to play like that, but I found this to be effective in helping to reduce the number of things you have to pay attention to, just to make it a little bit easier to manage, especially as you're starting out. With our units, they start pretty weak. There's many upgrades we can research, and I'll do another video on those. In order to research upgrades, you need to build an armory, which is in the advanced building menu. There's a couple other tech structures that I'll talk about in another video, but by upgrading our units, we can more effectively defend against the Zerg spawners, and eventually come to attack their buildings, and to end the game to kill their hive. But this is something for a later video. It starts getting a little bit complex, and I want to keep this very simple. I think that's about it for right now. Please go ahead and check out my other videos to see some other tips. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments or email me at zenithstarcraft2@gmail.com. Really hope to see you guys in game sometime, and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching.